Hi everybody, my name's Carmen Gilfillan. I'm an energy healer and a life coach. And I run a wellness practice in Leicester called Stimulus. And I thought I would make this video just to share with you a very, very simple technique that can help with things like trauma, fears, phobias, and stress, primarily those four areas. And the reason I'm making this video is because at the moment we're all going through it. We know what the situation is globally, and it's going to have an impact on each of us in different ways. Some of us are more resilient than others. Some of us are able to withstand changes in situations more effectively than others. And so we're all on a journey. We're all going through this, and we're all going to be experiencing different emotions at different times. Some of us are still working, some of us aren't, some of us are still in business, some of us aren't. Some of us are looking at our financial situations, and maybe we've actually got quite a lot of financial challenges going on at the minute because of the developments globally. And so I wanted to share a very simple technique that has helped me in my own life over the years that I've been using it. And that technique is called emotional freedom technique or emotional freedom therapy. Some of you may have heard of it, for others it may be something brand new. But it's a very simple technique that is used to overcome trauma, to help you with stressful situations, and to help you to feel calmer and more grounded and more relaxed. Where EFT or emotional freedom therapy comes into its own is if, for example, you've had an issue that goes way back, say, to childhood, and that issue still plagues you today. Maybe when you were 5, somebody shouted at you, and that had a massive impact on you. Maybe that trauma stayed with you, and maybe it's still playing out in your life today. So maybe if somebody, looks at you in a certain way or shouts at you or is aggressive towards you, maybe you still feel those same emotions, those same feelings that you felt when you were 5 and you got shouted at. This is where the technique comes in. The technique works by allowing you to let go of the emotional sting that you're experiencing from that event when you were 5 without impacting on the memory of it. And you can also use it for things that you're going through at the moment. So again, coming back to the coronavirus and the situation that we're all in at the moment, it's really useful to help you with stuff that is going on for you at the moment around that and all the implications that the current lockdown is creating for all of us. So this technique, as I say, is very, very powerful. I've been using it in my practice since 2009 and incorporated it into my practice in 2011. And ever since, I've had some fantastic testimonials from clients that I've used it with, whose lives have literally been transformed. So please don't be fooled by the simplicity of this technique. It is very, 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 very powerful. So what I'd like you to do is just to think of something in your life that is distressing you right now, upsetting you, plaguing you, or is just on your mind. And what I'd like you to do is to just think about where that is in your body. So identify the emotion that that situation is throwing up. So maybe you're angry at the situation that you're thinking about right now. Maybe you're upset by it. Maybe it brings you down emotionally. Maybe you feel depressed about it. Maybe you feel something else. Maybe you feel jealous, or maybe you just feel quite stressed about it. So when you think about that situation, what's the emotion that comes up for you? And then become aware of your body. Where is that emotion sitting in your body? So for example, do you feel it in your head area? Do you get a tightness in your head, for example? Do you get a constriction in your throat? Do you get a tightness in your chest? Are you getting butterflies? So when you think about that situation, what is coming up for you? And then I want you to score the intensity of that feeling that you're experiencing out of 10. So 10 being, I can't stand this, it's just driving me crazy. And 0 is, yeah, no feeling at all. So where are you on that continuum? And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the technique, and we're actually going to what we call tap on the feeling that you're experiencing. Okay? And we're literally going to tap the body. We're going to tap certain points of the body that we call acupressure points. So what I want you to do is just to be conscious of what is happening in your body as we tap on the body. And this is the basis of the technique. The technique itself was founded by Gary Craig in the 1990s, so it's relatively new, but it's based on acupuncture, which is thousands of years old. And in acupuncture, we use what we call acupressure points. And these are points all over the body that sit on energy pathways that run through the body called meridians. So when you start to tap on the body, what you're actually encouraging the body to do is for the energy within the body to flow freely, more freely. And when energy starts to flow freely throughout the body, that's when we're starting to put the body in the right environment for it to begin to heal itself. And that has an impact on how you feel emotionally as well as physically. So we're going to start to tap on the body, and we're going to start with the side of the hand. So we're going to tap between the bottom of the little finger and the wrist. So as well as tapping on the body, we're going to be using language to help the situation and to help to improve how we're feeling. So we're going to tap on the side of the body, and I'm going to use the example of anxiety. You can use whatever word comes up for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with what we call a setup statement, and that's a statement that allows you to speak to your subconscious mind. So you're telling your subconscious mind what it is that you want to focus on in this tapping session. So I'm going to say, even though I feel this anxiety, you can use whatever word suits you best. Okay? So what I'd like you to do is just to follow along with me, tap where I tap, and say the words that I say. And it doesn't matter which hand you tap with, you can tap. At the moment, I'm tapping on my left hand with my right hand, but you can be tapping on the other hand. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. This is a very forgiving technique, and we've got meridians that run throughout the body on both sides. So what we're going to say is, even though I'm feeling, and as I say, I'm going to use anxiety, you use whatever word suits you. And we're going to finish off that little sentence with I'm okay. And we're going to say that 2 more times. So even though I'm feeling this anxiety, or whatever it is you're feeling, I'm okay. Even though I'm feeling this anxiety, I'm okay. And what we're doing with that statement is that we're speaking to the conscious mind and the subconscious mind both at the same time. So your conscious mind will be aware of what you're feeling, but might want to feel something else, such as feeling okay. Your subconscious mind, however, is going to hang on to that feeling of anxiety or stress or anger or whatever it is that you're feeling. It will want to hang on to it because it's a familiar pattern, even though it's a pattern that's not serving you. So by saying, even though I'm feeling, you're completely acknowledging how you're feeling. So you're speaking to the subconscious mind. And then when you finish off by saying, I'm okay, you're speaking to the conscious mind that actually wants to feel better, wants to feel okay. Okay, so we're going to now start to go around the tapping point. So that's the setup statement done. And we're going to go to the first tapping point, which is at the top of the head. So we're going to just tap in a circle at the top of the head. And we're just going to take a couple of words from that setup statement as we're going around the tapping points. Okay. So in my example, the words that I will use are this anxiety. Okay, so the next tapping points are right where the hairs of the eyebrow start. So we're going to use the first two fingers of both hands. And we're going to tap right where the hairs of the eyebrows start. And we're going to just repeat the reminder statement, which is this anxiety, whatever phrase is relevant for you. So we're going to come round to the side of the eyes. And these are the next tapping points. Okay, so we're tapping on the side of the eyes, this anxiety. And you only really need to tap 7 to 10 times on each of these tapping points. And we want to make sure that we make contact with the skin, but we don't want to tap too hard. So just get that balance. So we're just tapping kind of gently on each of these tapping points. Obviously we're tapping more than 7 to 10 times on each of these points because we're learning this for the first time, or some of you are learning this for the first time. The next tapping points are underneath the eyes. And we're tapping on the eye socket, so we're tapping on the bony parts of the eyes. So this anxiety, or whatever it is for you. The next tapping point is underneath the nose. So again, with the first two fingers of either hand, it doesn't matter which, we're tapping on the fleshy part of the upper lip, this anxiety. The next tapping point is the middle of the crease of the chin, this anxiety. And the next tapping points are what we call our collarbone points. So find the middle of your collarbones roughly, and then come down just slightly, probably about 1 centimetre, and you should feel 2 dips. There are collarbone points. So we're just going to tap on those 2 points, this anxiety. Okay. And then with the flat of the hand, we're going to tap underneath the armpit. So we're tapping about a hand width from the armpit itself. So it's level with the nipple for men and on the bra line for women, this anxiety. Okay, so we're going to go around those tapping points one more time. So we're going to go back to the top of the head. We're not going to repeat the setup statement because we're tapping on the same issue and the same sensation. So we only change the setup statement when we're changing the issue or we're tapping on a different sensation. So this anxiety. Okay. First two fingers of both hands, we're going to tap right where the hairs of the eyebrows start, this anxiety. Okay, coming round to the side of the eyes, tapping on the eye sockets, this anxiety. Remember to fill in your own phrase using whatever wording suits you. So underneath the eyes, again tapping on the eye socket so we're not tapping too close to the eyes, this anxiety. Then tapping underneath the nose on the fleshy part of the upper lip, this anxiety. Middle of the crease of the chin, this anxiety. And then the collarbone point. So find the middle of your collarbones, come down probably about 1 centimetre until you find 2 dips, and then tap this anxiety. And then again with the flat of the hand on the bra line for women, level with the nipple for men, this anxiety. And what I'd like you to do now is to take one long deep breath in from your abdomen and let it go. So what we've done is we've done our setup statement. So we've spoken to our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, and we've become very clear about what we're tapping on. We've gone round the tapping points. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our body. And I just want you to take a moment just to check in with your body. And just see if there has been any shift in how you feel, if there's any shift in your score, and then if there's any change in your perspective on the issue that you've chosen. Now, for some people, their score will have stayed the same. For some people, their score might have gone up. And for some people, their score might have gone down. So if your score has stayed the same, the technique has still worked, but there may not have been any change in your body that you can recognize. The technique still would have worked though, because you're still moving energy throughout the body. If your score has gone up, then what that can mean is that the top layers, the top emotional layers of your situation may have been removed by the tapping. And that is given the opportunity for deeper emotional issues to come through. And if that's the case for you, just keep tapping, just keep going round, or just keep tapping in that same way until your score comes down. And our aim is for our score to come down to 0 or as close to 0 as we can take it. Even if it's down to 0.5, we want to bring that score ideally down to 0 or as close to 0 as we can. And for those of you whose score has gone down, that means that there's been some sort of emotional shift around that particular issue that you've tapped on. And depending on where your score was and where your score is now, you may want to just keep tapping. So if your score was, say, an 8 when you first started, and after those 2 rounds that we've just done, if your score is now, say, a 5 or a 6, that's good. So you would have come down 2 or 3 points. That's a major shift in EFT terms. So keep tapping. Continue to tap until your score comes down to as close to 0 as possible. Now that is what we call the basic recipe in EFT. That is just to show you how the technique works very, very quickly. Obviously, it's more involved than that. A complete emotional freedom session will take around about an hour, and you can really shift a lot of emotional stuff. What helps this technique is drinking water. So if you have to do quite a few rounds in order to get your score down to 0, make sure that you're sipping water in between those rounds. But that is the basic recipe, and you can use that technique for anything that is causing you a mild amount of distress, or if you're just feeling stressed, if you've gone through a trauma, if you're feeling fearful, if you have a phobia, or if you're feeling overwhelmed in any shape or form within your life or your work or your business. It's a fantastic tool that you now have at your disposal to be able to use when you feel it's necessary and where you feel it's necessary. I hope you found that useful. Again, my name's Carmen Gilfillan and my practice is Stimulus. My contact details are coming up. If you have anything that you're going through at the moment, that you feel that you want some help with on an emotional level, then please, please feel free to contact me at any time. Take care and hope to connect with you soon.